This is John Bonham, singer and tambourine player in Old Season.
And I'm Jimmy Blanchfield, guitar player in Old Season.
We'll be live on D Metal Galaxy on Friday the 12th of March at 8 p.m. to talk about music and whatever else comes up. So come and join us then.
Hello everyone.
Hello.
Interview with the Irish band because of March and St. Patrick is approaching. Guys, let's go to introduce you to tonight's guests. So we have John.
Hello.
And Jimmy.
Hi, yes.
From Old Season band. So guys, could you introduce yourselves a bit? Say a few words.
Yes, well, I'm John. I'm the singer in Old Season. I joined in 2013, I think it was. So, gee, it's been that long. 8 years. Last 8 years, I've been the singer. Jimmy's been in the band a bit longer than me. I'll throw over to him.
Yeah, well, I was in the band. I was 17, so I'm not giving away my age here, but I was in fifth year in school, and the band were Karnayna at the time. And so I've been with it since the start, really. It's a long time.
Cool. So, let's go.
Jimmy?
Yes.
I read that Old Season was born from the ashes of Karnayna. Could you tell us a little bit more about this?
About Karnayna. Well, Karnayna was kind of like a melodic death metal with like a real Irishy tinge to it. And they had they recorded a demo, I think it was around 2002, and they had Darren from more.Beloved on it. And no, he never, when he came on, as far as I know, he never really committed. He said, he would do the project, but he was busy with more.Beloved. So after the demo, he went back and he had to do his thing with more.Beloved, and I suppose it just kind of stagnated for a while. And then they were looking for a bass player, and I was actually playing in the band with Anto's younger brother. We have a long family history. I don't know if anyone knows, but like Anto's father and my father have played in the band together for like 44 years. So we would have known each other from kids, and I was in the garage playing with Anto's younger brother, and Anto was playing with the band at the time. And when they needed a bass player, he was like, "Look, I know bass isn't your instrument, but like you're very decent on the guitar. So if you want to just step in and play, so I started on the bass, and then after 6 months, it just said, look here, we could do another guitar player instead, and the original bass player came back. But then after that, when we started getting songs together, we started to realise that maybe we mightn't go down the kind of growling death metal route, but we might just start like with a fresh name change and just see where it goes from there. We never really sat down and said, look, we're going to be prog, or we're going to be Irish, or we're going to be power metal. It's like, we all love music, we all love writing stuff, we're all good at writing stuff. Let's just see what happens. And pretty much we've stuck to that to this day. I know people need to categorize music to hear, but it's not really what we want to do, because we want to kind of express ourselves in a way that we feel comfortable, that we're not, brandished by our own kind of by our own branding, So yeah, we keep it kind of free flowing.
That's clear, but how did it then you moved to Old Season, or Karnayna became Old Season? Yeah,
it was more Karnayna became Old Season. So it was similar members at the time. We didn't have a singer from the end of Karnayna to the beginning of Old Season. We didn't have Frank at the time, but the rest of the members were pretty much the same. And we're because we weren't going to get the growling death metal vocals, we decided, look, we'll just change the name, start afresh. So yeah, same members, just different name.
And different music.
Story behind the name, why did you change to Old Season?
Anto came off the name. It was basically because the lyrical direction had changed as well, and it was about times of old, like times beyond, and it was kind of ambiguous as well. Again, it wasn't really tying you down to any specific genre, so it was leaving us a bit more liberty to like express different themes lyrically and musically. So that was the main reason why we stuck with it. It just sounded cool as well. Like.
Yeah, good stuff. John, can you tell me about your influences?
As kind of how I sing, or just the bands I would listen to? Specifically,
how you start to listen to metal?
Listen to metal. I mean, if it was to go back to the very start, my brother tried to get me into Iron Maiden when I was before I was ready, you know. So like I kind of liked a couple of songs, and then around when I was kind of 14, 15, I think most people at that age, if they're around my age, I took that detour through new metal for a little while, you know, Limp Bizkit and Linkin Park and stuff. But then, yeah, I know, but you know, I was 14, 15. What can you do? And then one day, I was about 15. I was a bit bored one night, and I said to my brother, "Do you still have those Iron Maiden albums knocking about? I might give them another try." And then I listened to the first. He had a lot of them on vinyl. I listened to the first Iron Maiden album on vinyl, and I couldn't believe I'd missed it. I remember liking the song Prowler first time I heard it. So I used to listen to Prowler by Iron Maiden every morning before school for about a month. And then I came back then a few months later and listened to the first album again on vinyl. Stuff like songs like Remember Tomorrow and Phantom of the Opera. So I couldn't believe that I somehow had missed these the first time around, you know. So yeah, it really was Iron Maiden since about 14, 15. Yeah.
Cool. Jimmy, you?
Yeah, it was like I've kind of influenced from everything. Like, you know, I was never really a fanboy. Like there was a band I like and I stuck to it regardless of what they put out. Like, you know, I was always very critical of the bands that I liked growing up, like Nirvana, Metallica. But I suppose for me the big game changer was Cradle of Filth. Now, a lot of people wouldn't associate me with that because I don't really play that style. But when I heard like what they were doing, when I heard Vampires and Principle of Evil and Cruelty and all, when I heard the structure of the songs, I was just completely blown away. And the keyboards and the atmosphere and everything, it was just, yeah, it just shivers everywhere listening to it. I'd never heard anything like it before. Like, it was just, regardless of the singing, it was just the emotion in the music and the atmosphere. And I absolutely loved it. And I suppose I got a lot of my kind of guitar like influence from like bands like Amorphous and Dark Tranquillity and In Flames, you know, kind of bands that would have very like melodic guitar work because the vocals aren't so melodic. The melody has to come from somewhere. So it's usually from like an overlayer of guitar melody on top of the rhythms. And I kind of fell in love with that kind of style.
Okay. Cool. Different kind of
definitely.
You know,
but like
the metal you play now is different.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and look, I never really played that style. I never really played death metal or black metal in a band, but I still do take a lot of influence from it, like just the way they can develop melodies and techniques. But like as we evolve as musicians, like all of us, I suppose we're taking influence from everything we hear. Like we just, you know, we never try to stay stagnant, and we're never really happy with what we're doing. Like you always have to try and take it to the next level. So yeah, just everything really.
Nice, very nice.
Very nice. So, Jimmy, if I'm correct, you are one of the founders of Old Season. And for this reason, I'm wondering in what way did you scout for replacement and important factors that we're considering before selecting a new guitarist and vocalist?
Well, I was the new guitarist because Philip, he was the founder of Karnayna. And so he was just playing with, like, he just had one guitar really and the bass. And then when they moved to Old Season, I went from the bass to second guitar. And yeah, so like we really just had the two guitar players there from Karnayna. But then for the vocals, I suppose it was an easy choice to make because we knew what Frank could do. Like and also Anto and Smith, like they would have been friends with Frank. We were all, because we were all from Athy. The lads were a bit older than me, but they would have hung out together in school. So, and Anto was kind of living with Frank as well, and they were hanging out. So it was an easy choice, really. Like we knew what he could do, and also like we were into Iron Maiden as well. And I think we wanted to go down more that style of vocals than the death metal style, because it would be quite limiting, I suppose, in what you can do with death metal vocals.
Yeah, but if I'm correct, for John, you had to search like 2 years to find John as a vocalist, correct?
Yeah, it could have been more. Could have been more.
And
we were very picky though. You know, we did have auditions, regular auditions, and we actually practiced every week religiously. I don't think we missed 1 week of practice like in that whole period looking for a singer. Like we were always writing stuff. But yeah, well, look, when we heard John, it was like totally. It was just, we knew straight away. And then when we met him, it just confirmed it, because he just slotted in. Like it's as important that you fit together personality wise as much as it does like musically, because you're going to spend a lot of time with these guys. So there's no point being an amazing singer and then an asshole. Like.
So basically, you picked John on his personality and musical. Like, these were the important factors that it took you like 2 years to find someone.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, because it's like a vocalist is a big change. Like it was one of those things that we were tempted at times, as time went on, we were tempted to settle for someone. But then thinking about it, it was like there's no point settling for someone if they're not right, and then we have to go through this whole process again. So it was luck that really John and us kind of met up and did it. You know, it was perfect for us. Like his style, the way he was singing was absolutely perfect, and similar influences to Frank as well. But the way John approached like melodies and music was very similar to me, and I knew that it was just going to be really easy to write songs with him. So, and not everyone else who had auditioned like ticked all the boxes. So if we had 5 boxes to be ticked, some people maybe ticked 2, and then there was always some other ones unticked. John ticked them all. So
what were the boxes then?
I say boxes like hypothetically, we didn't actually have boxes. But,
I hope you remembered what you crossed. But let's now bother John with the question. So, John, how was your experience to audition for Old Season?
It was kind of funny because when I went down, the first time I went down, I thought I gave a good account of myself, but I had a chest infection at the time, so I couldn't sing properly. When I'd go into my high range, I'd keep choking and coughing. So I kind of said to the guys, oh, by the way, like I have a chest infection, so like I might not be at my best. And they kind of said after, they were kind of thinking, oh yeah, that's another one to add to the list of singer excuses, right? Yeah, chest infection. Oh, so. But so I think they had me back a couple more times. I think it might have been the third time I came down was when they finally actually asked me. But it was good because like it was 5 people I didn't know, and the first time you meet a band or audition or jam, it's a similar thing. You kind of think, oh, are these guys going to be, are they going to be up their own arse, or are they just going to be a bit like, all right, you're the new guy, are they going to be sort of so we're kind of closed off? But it wasn't like they were within about half an hour. I'd already heard one of Anto's like famous terrible jokes and stuff, and it's like, and Anto's kind of known for kind of dad jokes, really, So I'd already heard what. Yeah, he's the king of one-liners, So it was we got on really well, like even on the first meeting, But yeah, I had to go down a couple more times just to prove I wasn't lying about the chest infection. But yeah, it was actually good. The week before, I had auditioned for a wedding band, and I didn't get it. But Jesus, just as well I didn't, because I mean, okay, I might have made more money doing the wedding band stuff, but I wouldn't have enjoyed it half as much as I'm enjoying this,
Sold your soul.
Yeah.
There are two different things. Like I
Yes.
think they are doing like metal in weddings. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a few, but
Yeah, few
It's a
metal
very
bands.
limited market, that.
yeah.
Yeah. And as we speak about auditions, John, tell me about the story about the Voice of Ireland, how you decided to participate, and did that help you for after?
That was a funny one. That was kind of like a thing I'd always kind of half jokingly kind of said with mates and stuff. Oh yeah, sure, maybe someday I'd go in for that. And then it was a bit sort of spur of the moment. One day I'd seen an advert or something. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll see what the closing date is on that.
Mhm.
And the closing date was actually that day. It was like 4 hours, and I'm kind of in a panic. Went, all right, I'll just do it now. I'll just apply and we'll see what happens. And yeah, I don't know. I can't remember how long a wait it was. It could have been a few weeks, whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah, they got back to me, and yeah, it was funny. Like literally a matter of, if that had been the next day, I'd seen an ad, it wouldn't have even happened at all. But it was one of those where it's kind of like you don't want to.
Would you do it again?
I wouldn't do it again. I mean, too much time has passed. But you know, like it's TV. You know, it's not completely like the real
Yes.
the real deal. But as long as you kind of just give a good account of yourself, you know. And
Mhm.
luckily I wasn't forced into doing fucking Maroon 5 songs or oh yeah, that's rock. Yeah, you know, you're a rock singer. You can do Coldplay. You know, luckily it didn't come to that. You know.
Coldplay.
Yeah, can I just say as well that I had noticed a change in it. Like I was kind of skeptical what he was going to get out of it. Like, but I did notice a change just in confidence levels. I think it actually did him the world of good, because I was really unsure at the beginning. But like even John's talking about the first audition, he was using the chest infection as excuse. I think he used some kind of excuse for the first two auditions, the one after as well. Like, and to me, because he was singing so well, like he didn't need to say about chest infection. To me, it was kind of showing maybe there was a little lack of confidence there. But like even and the way I could notice the way he was, his stance and his posture and everything. As soon as he had done Voice of Ireland, like I think he came back like a completely different singer. He was like the full package, and you know, the confidence, just comfortable in himself, and then probably knew his own parameters a lot better, like because he was singing a lot more, practicing a lot more, you know. So.
Yeah, I think Judy's probably right about that. It's one of those things I probably hadn't thought about too much myself. But I remember the first show we played after all the TV stuff, after all the voice stuff finished. We did a show in Bradley's in Cork, and I don't know if any of you have ever been there, but the stage, there were three or four bands on, and one of the first bands who were playing, we heard them saying to each other, "Jesus lads, how are we all going to fit on the stage?" There was only three. There were only three in it. There were three in the band. There was six of us. So like I had to. I think we got the kit, and maybe the two guitarists were on the stage. Smith and Dave were just like stood on the floor, and I was stood on some milk crates like behind a bench. And it was one of those lads like, "Geez, John, you're not on The Voice anymore," you know. It was good. It was a good way to bring it back. But I made use of if that had been before the TV stuff, I playing on such a small stage and such a kind of tiny venue, I might have kind of not really known what to do with myself.
But okay.
But I tried to just pretend it was a big stage anyway, you know.
Yeah, it's a bit hard though when you're actually headbutting your bass player's headstock of his guitar. And you're up in the corner trying to play it.
Yeah, every time I move, I'm getting my hair caught in someone's guitar. Yeah.
And what was your best performance there in The Voice of Ireland, you think?
I quite like what I did with Stand By Me, because that was one that
lots of people like that.
Yeah, and because when that was suggested to me, it was a version by a band or an artist called, I think they're called Key Theory. He's I think he's kind of an electronic musician, and it was suggested to me, and it was okay, but just it didn't really go anywhere. It didn't even have the chorus in it or anything, and I was like, well, I don't know about this. It was actually one of the other guys, John Sheehy. He was a contestant on it the same year. He was like, he kind of sent me a rough thing. Go, why don't you just do it kind of more like this? And that kind of gave me a few ideas, and I was like, oh yeah, we could just go kind of full goth rock with it, you know, have the organs, and it looked cool. Like if you see it, like they have like the big moon and fucking a graveyard or whatever it is in the background. And yeah, I think that was my favorite because it was kind of my arrangement as well when we were rehearsing.
Or something different.
Yeah. And
Something
when we were rehearsing that, I was kind of saying to the musical director, yeah, it'd be cool have like kind of a bass doing this and then have the keyboard. And I was even when we did a live rehearsal the day of the show, I was kind of saying to the drummer, oh, maybe for this part come in with the beat. Originally the beat never came in, and it was kind of like just writing a song from the start. Whereas obviously like the Maiden stuff and the Zeppelin stuff kind of just had to do it.
Yeah.
But that one was a kind of we're able to just kind of obliterate the original song, you know, and just do whatever we wanted with it. So yeah, I think that was probably my favorite.
Good. Great one, yeah. Thanks, John.
I have some random Irish question. Is it true that in Ireland you are being given to drink Guinness from the age of 5?
I think you can. I think legally you can be given it, but I don't know. I don't think it happened to me. I remember getting spiked with I was about 5. My sister spiked me with a bit of I think it was Suddy and Red Sun and Comfort.
No way, that happened to me as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah, she told me it was red lemonade. She's like, yeah, have a sip. And I was like, yeah.
Did you come with us as well? Look,
I think I cried for about 5 minutes.
No, I don't know. Maybe some people do. I don't know. But in fairness, I did have a taste probably when I was about 8 or 9, and I remember like my parents are from the country. I remember there was a house up the road, and they had a donkey, like, and they used to give the donkey Guinness every morning. And I thought nothing of it. Like, this is just what people do. And once I got older, and I realized not everyone gives their donkey Guinness. Yeah.
That's like really weird. And if we are already on the weird topic, let's go to weird Irish top 5 habits.
Habits? I don't know. You'd be better placed to point out the habits because you would notice. Like for us, it's just probably just normal.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to think of which habits I might have or that are particularly Irish. I suppose. I mean, it's probably a common thing people have said before. It's just signing off a sentence, just going, "Sure, look it," when you don't know what to say. Like I suppose that's kind of a common one. Or when you go, "Sure, look it," it's like it offers no help, no information, but people still kind of understand what you mean.
Yeah, or the buy thing on the phone, like, oh yeah, see you, yeah, bye. Like half an hour. Bye. I told bye.
Thank God.
Or even saying grand. I mean, to most people, grand doesn't mean grand. It means fine. It means satisfactory. So I remember I've had like friends from England and stuff, or whatever, or even people from like who don't natively speak English, when they'd hear me saying grand in response, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, do you want this grand?" They're like, "That's a very over the top reaction. Very over the top reaction to it, like an offer of a biscuit."
That's grand.
Yeah.
Amazing. So I discovered I'm taking Irish habits because I'm using more grand. Yeah, that's grand. Like.
Yeah, but it's brilliant, though, because it works for everything. Like. I remember my dad came in and his leg was all bandaged up and there was blood like visibly coming from the bandage. And I was like, what's wrong with you? He goes, it's just the streamers. I said, you want to go to the doctor about that? No, I'm grand. It just works for everything.
Yeah.
All grand.
Yeah, totally.
So, tell me first. Say.
No, I was going to say, it's a tough question because I can't objectively stand back and think, like Johnny, which habit is Irish and is unusual, you know.
So, Jimmy, let's say you are one of the founding members of the Old Season, 2003. So, did you ever think you will still be going until now?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, it's a blessing, really. Like, you know, but I kind of knew it was going to be possible because, like, myself, Smith, and Anto, we'd be like the founder members. Not like we've been together for years, and they said we had that connection. My family and Anto's family. So like we'd known each other years, and we kind of did know because we'd speak to each other regularly. We enjoy each other's company, regardless of the music. We never put really high expectations on ourselves, like throughout. Like, you know, we have to do this. We have to be playing these gigs. We have to, you know, be earning this amount of money. We're like genuinely doing it for the enjoyment of just going into a room where there's silence, and then everyone just, you know, expressing their bits and a song coming out of it like within half an hour. You know, it's such a buzz. So I think we're all on the same page, and it's like, as long as we can do this, we're going to try and do it. Like,
and I have seen, you know, on your Facebook, you're posting videos with playing music, playing covers, playing your stuff. And
on my own, Facebook.
Yes,
yeah.
And I've seen you play also piano. Huh?
So, piano. That was a COVID habit. Just, you know, from last year, just from the lockdowns, Smith gave me one of his old keyboards, and I was just kind of pricking around with it. So yeah, I couldn't tell you what notes I'm playing, like if it's an E or a C or a D, but like I just pick it up by ear. So it's just kind of, it was keeping me occupied, and it kind of broadened as well, the way I approach like writing songs, melodies and stuff. It's just handy to have. But the same with the covers and videos I was doing on my own page. It was just like out of boredom because I'm not meeting up with the lads now since since January really. So I need to do something to keep myself sane.
You know, to keep to playing guitar and, you know, to be.
Oh, absolutely! Yes, it's a passion of love. So it's just going to keep doing it.
And did you play other instruments?
Not really. No. Like it's mainly guitar really, but like I picked up piano fairly easy. I like to think I can kind of play drums, but the rest of the lads assure me that I can't. So I don't know. I can play a bass. Like any of the lads, you know, once you can play one instrument, like if you had a bit of time, you pick the other ones up fairly easy.
Oh, yeah. You don't sing?
I can sing, and I used to sing when I was younger, but I don't know when I met Frank and I heard a singer his caliber, and then John was like, I'm not going to bother singing because they're much better at it than me, so I'm just going to try and concentrate on one instrument. And it's like I don't want to be a jack of all trades either. Same with the piano, like, you know, I don't go into too heavy because I'm nowhere close to mastering the guitar, so I just try to focus on the one thing. But Fuzzy, our other guitar player, is actually a great singer as well, so that's kind of like another reason for me not to sing. Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to coax, because I've heard Jimmy's dad has told me a couple of times that he's a good singer, but I've still never heard it. And I think I'm going to get him there.
You heard Smelly Cat. Remember I did the opera.
Oh yeah.
That was my audition.
Yeah, and based on that, I think I have him on side now that he's going to do a little bit of backing vocals on the next album. There's a song there's a bit I've written kind of as a big like group vocal thing. So, so I think Jimmy's kind of like, oh no, you Fuzzy can do that, but I'm gonna convince him.
Oh yeah, totally. You know, it's like when it's something like that, when it's emphasizing something he's doing, I'm totally with that. I think live as well. I think it'd be a nice thing, you know, to have the other two guitar players being able to step up and visually kind of look cool on the stage. So
yeah,
so nice. So about something different now. It's the first time I hear about the melodic epic genre. Could you guys please explain this genre for those who are not familiar with it?
I don't know, Jimmy, do you want to take that one? Or I don't know, it's like, because it's it's hard to explain. It's more just, I think it's quite a broad term, you know. It's broader than just say heavy metal, you know. If you say heavy metal, people are going to think of, say, Iron Maiden and Saxon, Judas Priest, whatever. I suppose the melodic epic thing, just I think it tells you that our songs are melodic and they're long. That kind of.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
It's a weird one because like I always thought like when we were playing that we would like I'd like to call ourselves epic metal, like, but I didn't realize that the actual genre of epic metal. When I went to listen to a lot of the bands, like a lot of Greek and American bands that play the genre, it's actually like it's kind of like a power metal vibe with the lyrics seem to be what makes it the epic genre. Whereas I think we were going for the epic melodic in terms of like emotiveness from the music and what like just like the grandness and like John said, the length of the songs. That's what where we were coming from. It's like, I don't know what else we could class ourselves as really. It seems to be like the best one, but yeah, like from the epic bands that I was researching years back, like they were completely different than us. So that's we stuck in like the epic melodic metal, like.
Oh, Nick is back.
Yeah.
You didn't miss anything.
Some problems.
And can you tell us about the songwriting process? Like, who does what and how the songs are being created?
Yeah, it's the beauty about I suppose our setup is that like pretty much all of us can write. So usually the way we do it is we come into practice and we all set up. Someone will start with a riff, whether it be myself, Fuzzy, John, Smith, even Anto comes up with guitar riffs. And we'll all start jamming along. And then like usually I might have another few riffs, or like I'm really good at piecing them together and kind of making the song, but using everyone else's bits and pieces. Like I love that because it kind of I don't know, it just allows you more scope when you're taking bits that other people have written. But it's like there's definitely no problems getting sparks to start songs because there's so much going on. That's our usual like way of writing songs. Sometimes like John or Fuzzy or myself will come up with like a full song that's already written that we've done ourselves at home, like, and that's cool as well. Well, I like to kind of interact away and jamming it out and seeing how it plays out, because you might have something in your head, you play it out, and then as soon as like the drummer puts his scope on it, it becomes something completely different. And then the other guitar player puts his bit on it, and again it just takes legs into something that you didn't really imagine it was going to be, and then that sparks off a whole train of thought into like where it can go. And like I would piece a lot of them together outside at home when I'm having a cigarette, like just thinking in my head, and I find it's like the easiest way to put it together, because you're not restrained by key changes or time changes, because it just flows so well in your head. Like as soon as you start trying to transpose them into keys, you just have a block there, you know. So it's just easier to do in the head.
Yeah, and another thing I'll add is how quickly the lads work. Like sometimes, like if I haven't come down for a couple of weeks, the amount of times it's just a new song that's just kind of come almost out of nothing. It's like the advantage of having not only 6 people in the band, but it's like most of us like Iron Maiden, but it's not like all 6 of us are like, oh, we all just listen, like, oh, we don't all have the same favorite band, you know. Mm-hmm. So because everyone listens to different stuff, everybody has, you know, 20, 30 years of different music ingrained in their heads, and an idea they can take, place they can take an idea, you know. And so it's we're actually kind of too productive sometimes. It's as how quickly somebody can just go, oh, I have this riff, and by the end of practice that's like a 5-minute song, you know. But you know, whether or not it's actually like good, you know, might suddenly takes time to settle. But there's times we've had to kind of put like writing bands go, right, you know, we need to get an album, we need to get these songs finalized for recording, lads, stop writing stuff, you know, because that's what happens. We're jamming a song, then in between like properly jamming a song, somebody will start messing around with the riff, and then we'll jam something new, but that one doesn't count because that's only a new thing. Like,
yeah, the writing band never works.
Yeah, I know.
It actually makes it more productive, I think.
Yeah,
because like the naughty children, like, oh, the writing band, yeah, let's try and get another song together on the sly.
And are you working on material now?
Well, we're working on the next album. We had put down like the basis of 4 tracks before COVID. And look, we had multiple dates set for the studio, but like that's all out the window like indefinitely. So, but we've like 15 songs other than the ones that are going to be on the next album that's to be worked on. So, like, there's definitely no shortage there. And it's like John said, nearly sometimes we are too productive because when we try to work on a new song, just another one comes out and another one comes out. And you end up having like 5 half-written songs and no fully finished songs.
Yeah. It frustrates me the amount of songs we have, even for me lyrically, how many songs we have that are 95% there. Because sometimes that's the head-wrecking part. It's just the concentration and focus you need to just get a song over the line. Go right, that's fucking done. That's always because it's like you're like, no, we've spent so long on this song. You want to write something new. You want to play something. You want to sing or play something you haven't for a while. You know.
So John, do you write all the lyrics then?
Most of them. But again, it's not like. I mean, for this album, actually, I would say, Fuzzy has written almost as much. The last album, my first album, there was one song that Smith had already written the lyrics for. That I think, Jim, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think that they had possibly even was kicking around when Frank was still in the band. They just hadn't gotten around to recording it. Song Elegy. Yeah, Elegy. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Smith's a dark horse. Like, I'm not sure if it was there for that long, but Smith has like written bits in the past, and then wasn't Anto doing Scavenger? Scavenger,
yeah. Scavenger was Anto had an idea for lyrics, and I had a few ideas, so we just sort of stuck them together. I kind of took most of Anto's stuff, and there might be the odd line where, that wouldn't work with what I'm doing with it, you know. So that was kind of half and half. Nevermore. Smith wrote the last part. I don't know like how well you know the stuff for that. Mine is the will of the weary. At the end of Nevermore, Smith wrote that whole part there. But I think probably everything else is mine. But on this next album, 2 of the songs are Fuzzy's lyrics. Like I've kind of tweaked them a bit. That's the other thing as well. None of us really get too precious about whether it's music or lyrics. To go well, I wrote it, so it has to stay this way. You know, we'll tweak it if other ideas come up. So Fuzzy's quite good like that. That he'll send me, go here. I have an idea for lyrics. I don't know if you like them or what you want to do with them. But actually, no, 3 songs because there's another one we were kicking ideas around on a few weeks ago. So there's actually 3 songs in this album that the lyrics are Fuzzy's. Then I just kind of messed with them a bit. So yeah. So I know it was a long answer to your question, but
and because of the situation, obviously. So what challenges are you facing?
Focus, I think. Focus is my main problem at the minute, which is something I never thought I suffered from, lack of focus. But just because it's just like constant, another lockdown, and then you think, you might be getting out of it, you might be able to start thinking about the future again. It's just, I just find it really hard to kind of focus now on like getting the next bits done, or even like, finishing off solos and stuff for the album that we're recording at the minute, because we just don't have a date. Like I need to work on specific schedules, like, that's why we booked the studio like in 2019, was just so we could all focus on, right, okay, we need to get a certain amount done by a certain amount of days. And the fact that we don't have that now, I just, my focus is sprayed everywhere. So that's the main challenge. Then, like, logistically, we can't actually meet up in a room at the minute, since we tried to get away with it before Christmas because the figures were quite low and no one was really in contact or with someone with COVID. But then after January, it just like a wave. Just everyone seemed to know someone close who had it, so we just stayed away from each other.
Yeah, current circumstances are wishing to be better.
Yeah.
So it's a cool story. So let's go something light now. So what's your favorite Irish tradition?
I'm trying to think. It's in my case, it's probably something food related. I'm trying to think. Yeah. I don't know, Irish tradition, I don't know. Again, it's one of those that there's things that I would do out of a sense of tradition, but I don't know if they're necessarily Irish.
So tell us, then we can tell if it's Irish or not.
Well, he's thinking my favorite one, and it's only when you've traveled around other places that you realize they don't do it, is probably funerals. I know it sounds really odd, but like I've quite a large family. I've like 90 first cousins, and we never really get to meet up that often, except for funerals. And we always have like an almighty session. And I know it's like sad, obviously the person goes, but like even the main mourners will often say as well that like it is a relief to have that amount of people around you for those amount of days, because it just takes your mind off it, and everyone's kind of in jovial form. So, and when you realise that, like in the UK they do it completely different. It's a lot more somber, I suppose. Where here it's a bit more celebratory. That's probably my favourite one that I can think of off my head.
Yeah, I kind of know what you mean with that, because I think I was only saying that to Jess, my girlfriend, there recently, that as a kid I remember like having a lot of good stories with like a lot of good memories of meeting other like cousins and uncles and stuff, but it's because there was just quite a few deaths quite early on. Had like an uncle died, and then my granddad died a couple of years later, and then my nanny a few years after that. And I think it's that like, you kind of look back fondly. You kind of forget the circumstances of why you met everyone and why you're having a laugh with them. And I think that's I think Jimmy's kind of onto something there. That it is. It's a good way of kind of reconnecting and having a laugh with people that you might not have otherwise.
Yeah, and I noticed that even with my own kids, like even when they were 8, I mean, my father's family, there was a few deaths amongst his siblings, like within a period of 2 years, and it was hard for everyone. But like my kids were like, every time there was a funeral coming up, they're like, "Oh yeah, brilliant! We're getting to go to the hotel and meet all our cousins again." They were delighted, like it was like a party for them.
Yeah, I would agree, because like I've noticed when I came to Ireland that funeral is one of the biggest gatherings. And I used to live in a tiny town called Roscrea in Tipperary, and so like going to work, so half town is stuck in traffic. What is happening? Oh, there's a funeral up ahead.
Yeah,
it's a huge procession, like until everyone passes. Yeah.
That's very strange. Like I never encountered the funerals. It was like always sober and like a few people, and that's it. And everyone crying, of course. So.
Yeah.
Let's go to live stuff. Let's go. Let's go to festivals.
Yeah, but it was kind of funny that you asked that question saying, okay, something lighter, and then Jimmy took
live stuff.
What is this thing called light?
So guys, tell me about your experience to play in Greece, Athens, in Up the Hammers Festival.
Amazing. I love it over there.